So yeah, hello everyone. Today is the kind of special community call, so we've decided to spend some time chatting, discussing different things. So we've got a couple of topics that are prepared up front, but yeah, feel free to drop interesting things as we go, like into the chat or like. So yeah, basically this is kind of a free discussion slash networking, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. So if the format will be successful, we can try that kind of stuff more often, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. There's so much to talk about. I mean, I really appreciate how you guys have brought, people that are working specifically on products too, though. I think both things are going to be good.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's such a nascent area, isn't it? Such a growing area that the nice thing is that nobody has it all figured out. So there's no stupid questions. We all don't, we're figuring things out now from a design standpoint that are like, oh yeah, huh, that's interesting. Yeah, we need to care about that, or we need to think of it this way. So uh anyway.
Yeah, the best way, I mean, is to get down to it, right? Start
Yeah.
building, seeing. I mean, you got to have a plan.
Yeah.
But once you get down to it, you realize, look, I used to do it this way, and I used to get, be able to validate my data that way. Maybe
Yeah.
not so more, right? So
Like I'll tell you, so I told Max I wasn't going to participate too much, but I can't help myself now because I'm a little sick. But the one thing I realized, and this was something that came up in a set of work that we're doing, is that just dealing with unstructured data and knowing that language models can handle that pretty well is impacting how we think about design requirements for applications that we're speccing out, right? One of the areas, if you can imagine an application where there's a lot of data to be entered, say addresses of customers, right? And that address information comes on bills and bills that are in PDFs that are from whatever the company is that produced the bill. You got to go find the address and type it in or paste it in. And if you were from a design standpoint, you'd probably a couple years ago are like, well, we got to create a way for them to enter in this information in the application, right? We have to go and provide the address, the name, address fields and everything, and go enter all that stuff in. And if it's 100 of them, well, good luck. There goes your afternoon, unless you have it in a spreadsheet already. That's what you're going to do. And nowadays, we started realizing that, there's another option, right? You could take all of those files and allow the user to upload them and parse out the name and address in whatever format they're in, thanks to LangChain or PDF readers or whatever it is. And then auto fill in those fields on the screen for 100 different addresses and let you go back and verify, validate that those are correct, right? Or give them the ability to edit or modify or whatever. But that's a capability that just didn't exist, but it influences and impacts the existing situation that's been there forever, right? Where I got a bunch of data I got to input and somebody's got to do it and it's a pain in the butt. And now maybe you don't have to. Maybe the option is let them upload a whole bunch of files and we'll extract out the information for you. It's a new design pattern that we have to kind of remember that exists now. That capability can exist.
yeah, workflows are definitely going to be changing. I've faced a similar realization. We were registering folks for an activation that we did in Vegas a couple weeks back, and we were doing the traditional input, form inputs. And I was like, if I had actually prepared for this in advance, I would just have them speak, their information and put it into the data automatically. And like it's all like the LLM can just get the transcription and pick up all that metadata. fields and then give them a workflow to edit it. Because obviously there needs to be a human in the loop validating the data at some point, at least at this moment, or at
That's
least
right. That's
so.
right.
But yeah, I really appreciate how those workflows are going to be changing, like the entire, input mechanisms. The only thing that does worry me a bit is the costs, and then also the amount of data that is being input into systems.
Mhm.
It become more of a habit to put more data in than is absolutely necessary.
Oh, that's an interesting point, right? Like you're uploading all that information, they've got the entire file now, even though they only need the address.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's an interesting point.
Yeah, I mean, I was just testing an app by a developer who works a lot for music labels and brands, and he put out basically a face swapper, or like actually a face morpher. Like you
Hmm.
edit your photo, or you take a photo and it generates a photo of you
Oh
as
yeah,
a young gangster, and it was really really funny.
yeah,
Good, and pretty seamless. But he actually used systems that expires the data. It kind of just
oh yeah.
data from the system. He was using AWS. I'm not sure what he was using for the generator. But he made it a point, to advertise that was one of the parts of the system. But um, yeah, I mean that it's you could just be handing over your face, your identity, real
That's the
easily.
truth, isn't it?
Just to try, a silly little app. And I mean, this has been leveraged for years now. I mean, this has been happening forever. But like as the UX of AI changes and the things that you get back are more exciting, or more
Hmm.
and more ubiquitous or more accessible or interesting to the masses,
Yeah.
it is just gonna
Well,
just
look at what the recent news from Reddit, right? The news came out just yesterday that they have a $60 million deal with Google to use their data to train your data, my data, right? To train AI models. They're going to make money on all the conversations that we've had. Now, granted, not all the conversations on Reddit I think are worth using for training, but uh,
right.
you know, but still, they're making a whole bunch of money on the data that we have just provided for free, um, before we knew that that was even going to be a thing, right?
Yeah, but let's see more details on that. How much has there been of a breakdown on what kind of I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But 60 mil a year, right?
60 million. I don't know if it's per year. It says arrangement, roughly 60 million will also give Reddit access to Google's AI models for improving its internal site search. So it sounds like there's a deal. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's an annual or if it's a one-time thing. But yeah, I mean, it's exactly what you said, Alan, right? There's a data that is being exchanged around, and we're just giving it away, and now that's really valuable, right? The open internet as it was before is becoming a little more closed because folks are seeing dollar signs in their eyes. Oh wait, all this data I have is worth something, and we'll have to see where that goes.
Yeah, that's one of the topics that I wanted to discuss actually. So I'm glad
Yeah, go
we're
for it.
like gradually slipped into that. So yeah, that's a fascinating like illustration to that catchphrase that's been circulating around the internet like several years ago, that the data would be a new gold mine, and basically the one who owns the data would be owning everything. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm glad we've like kind of discussed that because yeah, that's I guess one of the most important things that happens right now.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, um, there's definitely something there. It's been around forever, as I said. I remember in the Facebook days, like the quizzes and all that, those were just,
Oh
efforts to,
yeah.
like the whole Cambridge Analytica scandal. Um,
Oh yeah.
or reality, whatever you call it. I mean, I was pretty aware of that like years before that was happening, right? So,
Yeah.
but so to the point that Matt was making, what's gonna happen, right? Like with the open internet and with the data that we're putting in. I mean, it's just like about provenance. It's like where is the data going to that can, and does the places that are going, the data is going to, do they track where the data came from? And do they, allow you to, apart from validating, where the data, where the data is coming from and going to, and whether it's accepted and it's valid and it works within the system, like, is anybody else other than the people who are storing or transferring the data gonna be able to monetize it, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
it's not an easy answer. I don't know how that's going to play out. I mean, they're dealing with that right now, just with everybody suing OpenAI for copyright infringement, which, to some degree, I think is a tangential issue, right? Where the data came from to train. And in this case, it comes, some of it came from perhaps books that have been copyrighted, right? What I personally, and this is, I'm not a lawyer and I don't even play one on TV. My feeling is that you're going to have a hard time making that case because it's a computer program reading your information. It doesn't mean that it's like I can read information and I could write a report based on what I've read. And of course, there's a thing called plagiarism, right? But if I think the conversation about derivative works and things like that, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to hold up. What AI is creating is what you're doing when you're absorbing information is you're capturing and putting into weights and biases. You're putting it into a big algorithm and it's just spitting out information. It's hard to say that that is copyright infringement. And I'm even reading more arguments now that the way copyright was originally intended was not what was to help advance to protect owners, but also to advance society. And I think there's that balance that needs to be played, where if you're going to protect everything everybody says, then what is going, how do you? I think that can become overbearing at some point. I don't have all the details because I have to go back and reread the article a bit more. But I have a suspicion that the way this plays out in the courts is going to affect everybody. And if it plays out in a certain way, it's really going to make it difficult, I think, for AIs to get trained, unless it becomes very expensive to do so because they have to pay a lot of people to get access to their data. To do that is normally in the public access, right? Libraries and things like that. I'm not advocating one way or the other, by the way. I'm just telling you.
Oh, you just got to survey, you got to survey what's going on, first before you can advocate for anything, right?
Yeah.
That's how I would do it. But yeah, I mean, to the point is like, is it only going to be the behemoths, with all the GPUs or TPUs or whatnot, LPUs, that are going to be able to, to leverage all this data? I think we may end up in that case. I mean, I've seen like really good multimodal models, that can't be released commercially because they were trained. I mean, people are taking these initiatives, like they're being respectful, like certain people, are being respectful, like, they are doing it, in their lab, right? But when, obviously when you have to commercialize in like a professional setting, you don't want to fight the New York Times.
No, and they are, right? But if anybody can fight not say fight, but go head to head with the New York Times, it's OpenAI with all the money they have in the world,
Thank you for the correction. That's not what I didn't fight.
Tim,
Go ahead.
hey there, you're on.
I guess the question is, how deep is that gold mine of data? Because I think we'll quite rapidly reach the point where the return on investment of dragging data in from sources is just exhausted. And training our models, our baseline for training will be kind of possibly more static. We'll actually be more focused on dynamically pulling in data. If you look at things like perplexity, we've got a baseline model, but we're dynamically addressing emergent data from multiple sources, which I think changes the dynamic somewhat. Maybe it's just a very short-lived, I can get some money for the data I've got now, but yeah, when it's in the bank, well, that's probably it.
Well, it's a good point. We're using foundation, like we've tested some of the things we've done on foundation models at the time. Geez, 8 months, 6 or 6 or 8 months ago, we were testing out Falcon 7B, and it was pretty good. It was good enough at just being able to speak in English, right? And when you're doing something like RAG, right, I don't need it to know about the Napoleonic Wars. I just need it to be able to answer questions in English, right? And so I have a feeling we're going to get towards more finely tuned models that are fit for a particular purpose. For example, I'm giving a webinar coming up next month, and I'm doing it on using focusing on chip design, right? Chip design, typically you're writing in an HDL language called Verilog or VHDL. OpenAI can do that right now, and it does a pretty good job, but it doesn't have a huge training set, right? And more particularly, it doesn't have the training set that any company would have, because their Verilog is internal. That's IP that they own. They're not going to let that out, right? So if you could train your own models on your own your own IP, too many two-letter acronyms, on your own IP, now you have some power that you can automate your internal processes, right? And yet that AI model you wouldn't let out the door either, right? That becomes something private, but it will accelerate their progress. And so that's kind of where I see a lot of specialized models coming out. You're going to have probably the big models that are trying to edge closer to AGI are going to be there, but I think there's a lot of room for these smaller models that are fit for particular purposes or can be used with RAG, on low cost hardware to accelerate processes internal to businesses too.
I think the shape of AGI is probably not going to be our model. It's going to be that mixture of experts and I think as we use AI more and more because I see lots of development of tool sets, but I don't see much in products in the AI space. But I think what we'll end up with is small local models, like your bespoke model for chip design, or my personal assistant local model on my machine with, on my phone or whatever, which is, I guess, building a context. And then at some point, that will be passed off into maybe other models to go, okay, well, how do I get data from this one? This is an expert in X, Y, and Z. So I think it will be a meshed network of AI, which becomes the AGI, rather than like the one model to rule them all.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. It might be a sea of smaller models, and then you get routed, right?
Sounds like humanity. Sounds like humanity. I mean, that's how we operate, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's scary in itself.
That's true, isn't it?
Yeah, but by the way, Anthony posted a meme into our Slack about stay-at-home AI girlfriend. So like the guy pulled out the article that your AI girlfriend is a data harvesting horror show, and he left a comment like emphasis on my AI girlfriends are running locally on my GPU and don't require internet access to function. So I guess that might be one of the applications of those. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of AI.
Yeah.
I do tend to agree with you, Tim, that the specialized models, they're just going to be cheaper to run. I think, you can run them on lower cost hardware. You don't need to have the
It's also a level of protection. I don't necessarily need my data leaving a device. If we can do that with a 7 billion parameter model running on my phone, on the hardware I have, I prefer that from a security standpoint. And then it can kind of go question plus context out to a bigger, it's Big Brother model, and that could do some heavy lifting off device. But I think that I think we'll see a lot more kind of that edge AI rather than kind of centralized models, which will cut down costs significantly, power consumption and all of the other good things that come with it.
What was that, Tim? HAI, you said? H?
What was the term?
I've got no recollection of what I've just said. Sorry, the buffer's been erased.
It's on record. I guess we can look it up.
Wait a minute. Are you AI? You don't remember what you said?
No, I think I was saying edge AI? So like edge computing. Was that
Oh,
the
edge.
Yeah, like hybrid or H.
No,
What's
no,
the
he's
H?
saying edge, EDGE.
Oh, edge. Got it.
Edge. Yep.
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
terrible British accent and
No,
British
no, no.
things,
You're
but
much better than me. Let
No,
me let me also mention that one of the issues I don't hear a lot of people talking about is the fact that the AI models that are, out there with OpenAI or Google or whoever else, they're unversioned, right? The model changes over time, which means if you're integrating them into any application, you have no control over the quality of the output. We don't have any control over the quality of the output as it is. We struggle with prompting to get that to a point where we have like, okay, it's giving good results 80% of the time, right? And if it doesn't, we'll just rerun it and see if we can get a good one again. But when the quality of the model can degrade over time and you have no way to track that, right? You have no way to know that if you're integrating, and this is the problem I talk to our clients about. You're like, boy, one good reason to use your own local model if you can do it is you know when you're going to version it, right? You can plan for that. Imagine having the quality of your product dependent on somebody else's schedule that you have no insight into.
Yeah,
I tried to demo a GPT. Sorry, man, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. So yeah, in just 2 weeks, OpenAI had a meltdown twice. So the first time, like the ChatGPT spit out user passwords. I have no idea where that to take those from. And the second time, it's been like spitting out like a complete like gibberish with like Spanish language mixed up with English with some like additional stuff like that was absolutely out of context of the conversation. And it's been going for like several hours. So I do imagine that people plug their ChatGPT or like regular GPT APIs into their production-ready applications, and their users received like absolute nonsense as the result of that. So yeah, that's absolutely unreliable as a production integration. So yeah, sorry, Tim.
No, it's cool. You just triggered a thought in my head. I've been playing around with some of these agent AI tools. I can't remember the name of it, but AutoGen, sorry. And I'm just thinking, actually, there's the option to use multiple models in there, download my own models, use local models, as well as using other models. I'm wondering if I can actually simulate that kind of local edge model, and then we can have an agent which passes it on to ChatGPT or something else. You've just written off my weekend. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate
it. You're welcome. That's why these calls are good. You get ideas out. People are thinking about.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, if you don't mind, I found the article.
Yeah.
Probably it shouldn't take more than 5 minutes, maybe like the 10 minutes top, I guess. But this is something that I wanted to share because I found it like absolutely fascinating, and this is what, like as Tim mentioned, this is something that took me out by storm, and I basically sit over the weekend and decided, okay, I'll need to try it out. There's absolutely no way. So yeah, this is the article that basically started everything. So a couple of weeks ago, I've received, and yeah, why I've struggled to find it on Twitter because it wasn't on Twitter. It was in my inbox. I've subscribed to a newsletter. So yeah, that's been cool. Probably in a couple of years or in a couple of months, AI agents would be able to integrate with everything that I consume, like from social media to my inbox, and I would be able to chat with my ChatGPT locally and ask, okay, where I've seen that information, like give me more context. But yeah, anyway, so I've received this email from Thibaut. He's a famous kind of entrepreneur slash influencer. And he shared this chart of his organic traffic, and he claims that this SEO strategy brought him 5 million unique visits. So obviously this approach works. And basically, like there's an old way how you can get people from Google. So this is the SEO traffic. So the number of referring domains, the blue line, and the orange is the organic traffic. So this is something that he tested on his own. And the old way, you would build a blog page on your website, like spit out a lot of different articles on different topics, make them SEO friendly, and this is basically it. And what he suggested is that his SEO playbook is to create a lot of mini products. So you basically solve a burning problem for a specific category of people, and then you funnel them to the main software. So you are not producing content, but producing value. And like those small separated tools, they would be able to bring some traffic to your product. So I've been, yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll drop the link into the into our Slack community if you'd like to dig deeper into that. But
So,
what I've decided,
so this is talking about really kind of gaming SEO, is that right? Is he trying to game SEO in order to get visits to your site? Is that what's going on?
I don't think like it's gaming directly, but basically he tries to create a small like really small tools for different niches. So for example, tweet creation or something else. So he's got a bunch of those, so you can check them out. But basically the idea is that you are fixing one single small problem for several people, for example, or for a lot of people at the same time, and then you will get organic traffic from them because they would get back to your tool over and over. For example, a lot of video and photo editing tools are popular. So for example, if I need to remove background from an image, I will not open my GIMP on my local machine. I would Google like background removal tools online, and we'll do that in a couple seconds because I don't want to use the GIMP for that. So that's one of examples of such tools. And yeah, his strategy is basically articles and content is like past century, and the future is like creating those small tools, and they would help you to get traffic. And 1 second, I need to move the Zoom panel away from my tabs in the browser. Okay, so I've decided, okay, I need to check that. And to be able to figure it out, I need to find a niche where I would be able to find a lot of easy keywords that will get me some SEO traffic. And at the same time, I would be able to create a small tool that would help those people. So what I've decided to do, yeah, so the Ahrefs, I have no idea how to properly like Ahrefs. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, this is the tool that I'm using for checking the backlinks. By the way, they do have like a lot of different free tools. So this is the perfect example of what I wanted to mention. So I went to this application because I know that they do have small tools that help you achieve different things. So for example, if I would like to check the backlinks and the rating of my website that I'm managing, so over here, for example, we would check the AI product Hive landing page. I can use their tool, and they would give me the domain rating, the number of the backlinks, and the referring websites. So this is the perfect example of the tool that I would like to build for my audience. And to find those backlinks, I would need to use the keyword generator tool. So since I know, like I'm from the Ukraine and I know what is like relatively popular among the people, so I've spent like literally a couple minutes trying to figure out the niche. So for example, if we will Google something like birthday wishes, if we will Google that, like check how many people are trying to find something like that on Google, we will get the popularity for those search keywords. So this keyword generator is basically showing whether different keywords are popular in a specific region and how hard it is to rank among first several websites on Google. So, for example, in the United States, it's like pretty hard to get on top of the list because the keyword difficulty This is the number between 0 and 100. This is the like the difficulty, how hard it will be to get into the first batch of, or first page of the Google results. And the volume essential is the number of unique visitors trying to find that keyword on Google. So as you can see, happy birthday wishes, it's relatively hard to rank among the first websites on the Google search, but they do have a huge volume. So almost
So
300.
let me stop you right there, Max, just to understand. Is this an application that was built by the person that wrote the article?
No, this is the application that I've used for my research. So this is
you've used for your own research for publicizing applications that you're building, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay,
So
I see.
yeah, basically this keyword generator is both the example of a small tool that can bring you a lot of traffic, because I've used that for my own research. And at the same time, is the tool that I've used for my research. So the results of the research would be in a couple minutes, basically. But yeah, like the process of thinking is that I wanted to show that those small tools are really popular, because like I do know that Ahrefs is a popular website that provides you those small tools for free. And I won't use SEMrush, for example, or some other really complex website to do this research. I can do that for free, like, and unlimited amount of times per day, for example, because SEMrush got a limit of 5 keyword researches per day, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that's the whole idea. Is that clear, or like?
Okay. So you're using this to figure out what keywords you want to use for your own little application that you're building, that you're going to use AI with. Is that right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
yeah,
I got you.
Exactly.
Also,
So I
trying to validate his findings, the other person's findings. Are you trying to validate what he was saying? Or
I like basically the idea behind this email newsletter was that this person claims that mini products are more popular and more effective than regular SEO strategy with content generation. So you don't need like a ton of blog posts that you will churn out like a machine gun, but you rather would like to build small products for your like bigger product and get some SEO traffic that way. So basically, that was the idea that I've tried to validate. That's why I'm like kind of trying. That's why I decided to find a niche for like my AI product, and that's what I'm doing right now, basically.
I think that's what we need. We totally need how to, like that very one here at the bottom, how to wish your son happy birthday. That's what we need the AI agent for, because like, I mean, let me tell you about my son, and then you tell me how to wish him a happy birthday. I think that's the perfect for for moms and dads who have no idea what their kids are totally into, how to communicate with their kids. We need please wish my son happy birthday for me.com.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought it up, because that's basically the whole premise. So, but yeah, we'll get into that promptly. So
okay. Yeah, I have an estrangedson.com. I think there's probably a larger market there, and then you can do holidays and everything just in one shot. Schedule them all ahead. Valentine's Day,
oh my
Christmas.
goodness.
I'm glad you've pointed out the second feature, the most significant feature of the application itself. So yeah, like, and there are any other features basically. So yeah, I wonder. So yeah, the good thing is that it feels like I'm in the right place. So the niche is definitely there. But yeah, I've tried to illustrate the idea of like my research, and like feels like I've got the product market fit already. So
yeah, you're so close. Just work on
Yeah.
that prompt with ChatGPT, and then you won't need to come back and host these meetings because you'll be off in the Maldives, sunning and getting sips of margaritas.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
All right.
Yeah, so basically, like as I mentioned, like I'm from Ukraine, and I know that a lot of people are like trying to find birthday wishes for other people, because on 3rd of February I've had a birthday, and on the 9th of February my friend had a birthday, and we've been like so we've been kind of preoccupied with different stuff, and he missed my birthday and I've missed his, and that was like kind of a bummer, but since it's been a mutual process, it was like totally okay. And the case is that at that moment I've been thinking, okay, so every time my friend has a birthday, I'm trying to figure out something really specific for that person, and often I've got some issues trying to kind of put that into words. So that's why I've started researching this niche, and turned out it's been pretty good. So yeah, in English, happy birthday wishes are like relatively hard to rank, and they do have like 300,000 searches per month. And let's check out the same thing. The same thing for Ukraine. Basically, that's something interesting. So that's why I've kind of been a bit shocked. So this is essentially the Ukrainian translation of happy birthday wishes. So this is not something different. But the keyword difficulty is absolutely like stunning. It's like super easy. And over here, if I'll hover, okay, I guess I need to use the other tool to use that, but yeah, anyway, so the keyword difficulty is super easy. Some of the keywords have like 0 keyword difficulty. That means I would end up on the like top 3 Google searches easily. And the
Also,
volume is
really, yeah,
come again.
the volume is really high for that.
Yeah, the volume is enormous, basically. So it's 3 times bigger than in English, and like basically ranking is super easy, like barely an inconvenience. And the long tail keywords, like you can see, there's a ton of them. If I would decide to focus on those ones only, I guess I would get like thousands users per day, and that would be barely an inconvenience. So this is something like happy birthday wish to my son, for example. And yeah, as Matt mentioned, this is literally the something that would be super easy to rank. So I've decided, okay, at this point, I do have a perfect niche, the one that has like a huge search volume, like more than 500,000 people per month, and the super easy keyword difficulty. So it won't take long until I would be able to validate whether my experiment is a success or a failure. So it will be super easy to bring in some of the SEO articles, and at the same time, it would be super easy to build a small ChatGPT-like tool. So that's why I've basically created this application. So this is like not something important for the point of the discussion, but yeah, basically you can create a wish for a loud one, and wish second.
Did you create this?
Yep. So this is basically yeah, I've got a Telegram notification that somebody generated a wish already, and this is a like absolutely plain, simple ChatGPT wrapper that I've built over the weekend in a couple hours. So yeah, happy birthday to Anna. Here's like blah blah blah, and I can add football. I can add some additional details and ask the application to add something. So since it's a ChatGPT, it gets that's pretty like
Wow, it really went all in on the
okay.
football conversation.
Yeah, cheers, tackles, brilliant goal. So yeah, this is like absolutely simple, a simple landing page, and that's pretty much it.
If you remove football from that prompt again, would it still talk about football?
Let's see. It shouldn't, because basically the context is not saved. So yeah.
Did you say that Anna loves football and cheese? And then see what happens? Now you're gonna give me something to do this afternoon.
Cheers.
Yeah, I'm curious what it does with the metaphors here.
I like this.
She's a goodness.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that
Okay.
kind of fine, I guess. But yeah, the case is that I've basically built this small tool that the only purpose for that is to generate a birthday wish. And yeah, this is the second website. This is a subdomain. And I've created a bunch of articles with birthday wishes in Ukrainian that are targeting specific keywords from Ahrefs, like those long tail keywords at the bottom that I've shown you. So basically the happy birthday to my son, etc., etc. So basically the articles that are targeting those keywords. And like this is 100% AI generated. So this is the type of the content that Tim mentioned. If OpenAI would decide to scrap my website and try to like build their model for birthday wishes on top of the data that I've put over here, it will be essentially learning from its own output, which will degrade the results over time. But anyway, since it's like a simple birthday wish, it shouldn't be like too much different from something what a real person would say. So yeah, as you can see, I've put like almost 60 different articles with those wishes. And this is the subdomain. So what I've, and the interesting thing is that I've started to get clicks almost immediately. So somewhere over here, I've deployed the website. And this is how the search looks like right now. So the like almost immediately after I've indexed my website, I've started to get the results from the Google. And like as you can see over here, I've got some clicks already. And I'm not sure I would be able to show Google Analytics, but the like the subdomain, the results are almost identical. The only thing is that the number of clicks is a bit smaller, but that's because like the so yeah, basically for now the result is that the website with the the result with the SEO stuff, it's like for now, it's a bit behind the tool itself. So this is the tool. As you can see, this it gets a couple more clicks, and the website that's focused on the SEO itself, it got like less clicks. But we'll see how that goes. So yeah, I'm really curious about the outcome of this experiment. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, I really like that idea, Matt, about sipping the martini somewhere on the beach. So yeah, we'll see whether I would be able to monetize that. But yeah, that's my small experiment. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, that's me.
Wow.
So the result is that so far you do see the tool bringing you more traffic than the SEO articles.
Yes, exactly. A couple more, the tool gets a couple more clicks than the application itself. But like then
What do you mean
like
by that?
SEO
The
article
tool gets more clicks than the application. Which is
yeah, that 1 second.
I muted. Go ahead.
Yeah,
What was
okay,
what's the difference between the tool and the application?
yeah, so the application that is based on ChatGPT and helps you to generate the wish gets a couple more clicks than the website with the SEO articles. So for now, the tool is leading, and the like SEO articles are losing a bit. So the difference is like a couple clicks. This is like not like I guess a valid indicator, but yeah, well, we'll see how that goes.
Interesting.
The premise though was that there's like an umbrella property, right? Like a home application, and then you like funnel through the tools, the smaller tools, you funnel them into the main application? Is that the premise
yeah,
of the art?
the application itself, okay, I'll guess I'll show that. That's a 30-second 30-second demo, basically. So yeah, this is the application itself. You are filling in like some stuff about the person that you'd like to wish something to, and you will get basically the list of different dates that will happen in the future. So you are adding a wish for Jane, for example. She's your neighbor, and the application will generate a wish automatically and send you a notification when there will be a housewarming party, and basically will notify you when you need to send that wish to Jane. So that's basically the only two features that the app has. It generates the wish itself and notifies you when you need to send it. So basically both features that Matt mentioned a couple of minutes ago. So yeah, the application is not production ready yet. So I'm focused on basically getting the traffic for now. But the idea is that, yeah, probably in the couple weeks, I would try to monetize that the traffic, and we'll see how that goes.
Nice, good job.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, the
learned a
whole
lot.
idea.
I learned a lot from that. I don't know too much about SEO, so it's cool to see what what you're learning, especially now that it's all changing and stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting. I don't know, man. I think SEO is going to be, I mean, right now everybody's gaming SEO, right? That's been the case, right? And I originally thought when you were going into it, it was about gaming SEO, but it's not. It's about building an application, a small application that's going to serve a niche. I question whether, like in the future, how SEO, because SEO is all about getting Google ranking, getting attention. But the big question is keyword search going to be around forever? Like, I don't know in that way. I was watching a video earlier, popped up on whatever thing I was using, and it showed the 1950s view of the modern futuristic house, right? And it had a guy that was standing there, and it showed where he can press a button and it gives him a record out very nicely, so he could put that on his turntable, right? And so what they miss is that everybody thinks that, well, the record player is going to be there because of course that's how you get music, and nobody questioned like maybe it's not a record player anymore, right? So everything revolved around that particular trajectory of, well, we're going to have records, and so we need to have new ways of getting to the records. And like, okay, that's one way it could go, but if somebody invents like 8 tracks and then cassette tapes and then CDs and then USB sticks and MP3s, then it doesn't happen that way anymore, right? And that's where reality veered off. So search, I think, is going to be the same way to some degree. Like, if going back to things we were talking about before with models, if you're always using a chat to get into and understand what is out there, do you need to have, that's a big question. Do you need to have websites that you actually go and visit? Or can it all be handled through the chat, the conversation agent? Is there SEO at all anymore? Does it even exist?
Yeah, that's an interesting like topic for discussion, because I see a lot of people are like having those even fights on the internet, whether SEO is here to stay or it will go away in a matter of months, because Google is obviously losing the AI race. And like, I have no idea whether the Reddit corporation would be able to help them. Probably yes, until some degree, but like the Gemini launch being a mess, like their models are like, so even the first presentation that Google had, it's been claimed fake a couple months ago, I guess. So yeah, that will be pretty rough for them to
Well,
stand up.
fake is one way of saying it, or augmented by non-reality, right? Like
Yeah.
it was not quite truthful, but they didn't come out and say, well, this actually exists. They just made a video. And Google, look, nobody's going to beat Google in search. They just have all the manpower for it. But what did they do to Yahoo? Right, Yahoo years and years ago, right? And Ask Jeeves and all these other ones. They were websites that indexed everything manually, right? They had teams of people trying to organize how something should be in Yahoo, and then you ended up having a single line that says, "Type in what you're looking for," and Google came back and it beat Yahoo, beat the pants off Yahoo. Now you've got a single line in the chat bot that says, "What are you looking for? What do you need? What do you want?"
Yeah.
Right?
And Google's not caching and indexing, or they're probably indexing, but not caching anymore, at least. I'm not sure if you saw that headline. But
No, I
not,
didn't. They're not
yeah,
caching
they're
the
not
sites.
keeping, yeah, they're not keeping cached records and serving them up to users anymore.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
didn't see that. Well,
I mean,
so that's ultimately the question for me is, what are websites going to look like in the future at all? Because if it's just a way to access content, yeah, you can always go and view it, but if you can access it through an interface where you don't even need to visit the website to get the information, are you just producing information to be absorbed and used by what is either trained models or RAG to provide the information?
Opinions, anecdotes, stories, from a human perspective, I think still want to consume on a web page. I'd like to be able to talk and listen to web pages.
Yeah.
When I was wearing the Vision Pro, I'm like, why can't it just speak to me? Why can't it just like talk to me? It's actually
Yeah.
really easy to do it on the iPhone. You could just like drag all the text, and then like I think you just hit the context, and then it just
read it.
Right, but you can't quite do that on Vision OS right now.
Oh, okay.
So there's probably space to build an application for that.
Yeah. Well, we've got a couple more minutes. Can you please give like a bit of feedback about Vision Pro? Like, I'm super curious about that. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've
Yeah.
been enjoying it. I don't know if you guys noticed, I'm on video right now, right?
You are.
But there's like I have some tan here on my face because I went outside with it. Like how funny is that? I didn't notice until I saw myself on video.
I
Kind of embarrassing.
didn't notice now until you said it. So you
All
went
right,
50
so it stays here for now. But like that is I guess until Max decides to publish this. But no, but it's been really good. I mean, a lot of people are talking about entertainment, but I think what Apple is really trying to do here is bring some productivity to VR. And it's not quite there yet, but you can definitely feel some intuition for it because it's like having a bunch of iPads around you, right?
Yeah.
That you can control in space, and that's pretty awesome. But it is exhausting. Yeah, it's eyes get dry and all that. But use cases like at every single point of my professional career, I could see a use case for Vision Pro, right? It's just a matter of fact of like, or a matter of that future, catching up to us. And it's been trying to catch up to us, I guess, since the advent of computers. I mean, even more, I guess effectively for the past 15 years, right? I mean, I know Max, you've tried the HoloLens, right?
Yeah, several years ago.
Several years ago. I mean, it's always been like a wow thing, right? Like, oh, wow, everything's here in front of me. But how much do you really need in front of you? I mean, you have so many screens. I mean, but it is neat. I mean, it's super, super neat. And I've tried it with my family. They really enjoyed it. My dad, for some reason, was the one who had more intuition about it. My mom was a little confused with like everything. My brother, who's a business person, like a small business owner, he was like, "Can I get my 20 minutes back?" He's like always like, he uses all kinds of software. He just doesn't have a need for it. I mean, probably for entertainment, but he has a newborn right now. Like he's not really trying to go into his own world. I have more time right now than usual. I'm kind of like I'm looking for something new. I'm like inspired by spatial computing in a way that I feel like I haven't been inspired for a while. I mean, I've always been interested in it, and I've done experiments with computer vision, with ambient computing, things like this. But this kind of flips the situation. Like some of the systems that I was building, it was like you were putting stuff in physical space that were observing you. Now this is like from your perspective, right? Like this is you, but the Vision OS in itself right now is a little bit closed off. I mean, you could use ARKit, and there's there's sensors and everything that can, I think, detect and observe and measure things, like I think within like a 5 meter distance around you.
Yeah.
But some of the traditional input methods that we've become accustomed to with like iPhone and stuff, like front facing and back facing camera, you don't have full access to that. If I was on the Vision Pro right now, like what you would be seeing is my persona, right? And I couldn't cast what's around me to you guys here.
Yeah, I've heard that too. That's a problem, right? It's not, if you have people around you, there's no interaction, right?
Well, I mean, when I was with my family, we were in the kitchen, we were all interacting. They could see me,
No, I mean, I'm sorry, people with Vision Pros, like two people with a Vision Pro, each one with a Vision Pro. There's no interaction between you. Like you can't be watching the same movie, right?
You can't be, no, there's a lot of DRM. There's a lot of DRM for sure.
Yeah.
In fact, I was doing a demo and I was trying to demo, I think, one of the immersive movies with my family while casting to my Mac, because you could mirror to your Mac. So I could like guide them. And we were confused because it was all pitch black. And then I realized, oh, like we're watching like a proprietary movie. Like if you have it hooked to your Mac, they're not going to let you. So they black out the Vision Pro too. So you're just like, oh, wow, what's going on?
Why'd the room go so dark? Why? I can't see where I'm going.
And I mean, that's like where you get into dystopia, right? Like if you strap yourself on and like there's something coming towards you, or they start broadcasting messages to you, just because somebody, like, it's just there's so much. It's like a Pandora's box almost that I'm walking into. But I like to be, on the edge of stuff, and like I'm here for it for now. Yeah.
Cool, man. All right.
Thanks for the feedback. Like I've been really curious about like whether it's time for the Vision Pro or not. So yeah, seems like it's almost there. So
I mean, we've invested a ton in it. Like those paradigms, I mean, they're here to stay. It's just the form factor and like the amount of control that we're gonna have on it. I mean, like that new frame by Brilliant seems really interesting, and it's open source. But it's not in the walled garden of Apple, right? So
yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So yeah, we are on time, I think. So yeah, seems like that small demo scared a bunch of folks. So we will take a note next time.
No, I think it's time. We're a little bit over time, so it's all right.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, Alan, thank you very much for the conversation. Been super interesting. Ofer, thanks for staying with us until the end. Yeah, and the folks who are watching the recording, and of course everyone who's been with us, thank you very much, especially Tim, like for the super interesting takes on different things. So yeah, I think we will need to do that more often. So
yeah, it was fun. All right. Well, you all have a good rest of the afternoon, evening. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, as Jim Carrey said back a long time ago.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Y'all take care. We'll see you.
Bye-bye.